So the biggest social issue that was voted on in Congress in a while, gun control, came up this week, and it probably died in the Senate, and I think that was not an outcome anybody would have predicted even a month ago, certainly not 3 months ago after Newtown, Connecticut.
Yeah, there really seemed like there was a lot more momentum earlier on, even as recent as last week when Senator Pat Toomey reached this bipartisan agreement with Joe Manchin. It looked like there really something might happen.
To crack the code on background checks,
right,
which was a tough nut to crack.
Right. That had emerged as the only possible area that you really might see something happen on a bipartisan in a bipartisan way, and then the two senators came out and nothing. Really, there was not a big scurry to support it, not even really a whole lot of loud, defiant opposition at the time. It just sort of
died on the vine.
Yeah.
And so Senator Manchin told us this morning that he thought emotions were rawer today after the vote than they were before the vote. What's that all about?
I think there was just so much anger from people yesterday. They point to these polls that show some 90% of people support broader background checks, and you see victims, relatives of the Newtown victims flooding the Capitol for the past 2 weeks, former Representative Gabby Giffords and her husband making trips. And so you have this sort of emotional buildup and then just sort of a crushing defeat.
Even though
a
majority of the Senate was for it. They just couldn't get the 60 votes.
They couldn't get the supermajority that they needed.
So is this, the question now is going to be, is it really dead, or is there a second life? And you know, the Democratic leader of the Senate, Harry Reid, has maneuvered so that he can park this for a while and then bring it back if there's a reason to bring it back. Not clear to me what the circumstances are that create the reason to bring it back, though.
Well, what we're hearing from aides is that if there's public outcry, possibly aided and abetted by President Obama, who has the best position to make this a big cause, if you see a huge backlash for the next month, maybe that gives the Senate a good enough reason to pick it back up. And they did take specific procedural steps so that that is out there and an available option to them.
I don't know. I have to say I'm skeptical, because if you think about support for gun control as having been up here right after Newtown and having faded to about here now, I don't know how you get it back up to that level absent something like Newtown, and there couldn't be anything more compelling than Newtown.
Okay. But what's interesting to me is what the president did yesterday when he's so angry, seemingly so angry about it. If you think back to when the assault weapons ban expired, that died with a whimper. Democrats, we've gone through a period of time where Democrats have been largely willing to let this issue die a quiet death for their own political preservation or success. I do feel like, in my own mind, what I'm curious about is, are Democrats now saying that they are willing to possibly, suffer other defeats in order to keep pressing the issue because they think the issue is right politically for them now? To me, the biggest impediment to getting, legislation votes on the Hill for a while has been Democratic opposition, not really Republican opposition.
Right, and these things are all connected. If you're going to
Right.
cast a tough vote on immigration, you might not want to cast a tough vote on guns or gay marriage, and
Right.
that's the way the world works in the Senate.
And Senator Manchin acknowledged that, saying, you only have so much energy to defend so many reversals to your constituents, and if guns have already gone down once, are you going to use up all your energy defending a change on that when you also have immigration and potentially same-sex marriage?